Wake up. That's right. Wake up. It's Colts week. It's Friday. 49ers got a break last night. The door is slightly ajar. Now can they kick it effing down? Let's go.
How about an all 49er alumni touchdown? Last night, thank you, Sam Darnold. Thank you, Eric Sauerbert. Are you kidding me? What a finish. That was maybe the best Thursday night football game we've seen in years. It's certainly the best Thursday night football game we've seen on Amazon Prime. And that goes down as one of the, handful of games that I think 49ers fans will remember that the 49ers didn't play in this season. That was a great game on Thursday Night Football. It was crazy. It had all the Thursday Night Football division rival craziness baked right into it, and it went the Niners' way for sure. Wow, what an opportunity now they've got in front of them, Larry. 3 one-game seasons. 3 one-game seasons for the 1 seed, and that's where they are. And if I had told you that the day Nick Bosa looked up and just, went like this to the press box, like, not a lot of people would have believed me. They could be the 1 seed. Oh, my God.
It's amazing. It's amazing. But it also goes to show, it's a weird year. Damon, think about this. It's December 19th. And by the way, good luck to my youngest son, Chris. Today is his final. And, we remember that time of year, Damon, where you get the finals before Christmas break. So he's got his Christmas break at, 5 hours from now, but he's got a couple finals he's got to take. So good luck to Chris with his finals. But it's December 19th, and the 49ers could be the 1 seed or miss the playoffs. Think about that. How many years could you possibly say that when you get to week 15 or 16? Oh, they could potentially be the number 1 seed and be the only team in the entire conference with the first round bye, or they could miss the playoffs entirely. All of the gamut of emotions and options are all out there, all available. And I just listened to John Lynch with Murph and Marcus on KNBR breaking the whole thing down. They're focused on the Colts. They're focused on Phillip Rivers. They're focused on Quentin Nelson. They're focused on DeForest Buckner. They're not looking ahead. They're not thinking about Ayuk. They're not thinking about injuries. They're not thinking about Bears or Seahawks or playoffs. It's just Colts, Colts, Colts. Today is the Niners. Today's Friday, of course, but today is the Niners' Thursday practice because of the Monday Nighter. This is kind of the big practice. And the Niners have about 6 different guys between Kendricks, Samo, Tatum Bethune, Yatir Gross-Matos, Ricky Pearsall, that are like, we don't know. They could go, they could not go. There's Eric Kendricks may be called off the practice squad. He might not be. They got a lot of different options, and Lynch said that today's practice was going to be grueling and was going to be the kind of, it's going to answer a lot of their questions for who's up on Monday night.
Well, I'm glad to hear that they're all as focused on Indianapolis as they should be, because I even had somebody reach out to me on Twitter last night and was like, I'm really concerned about this significant Chicago ground game.
Yes.
I said that's fantastic, but you need to be concerned about this very significant Colts ground game before that. There has never been a more 1 game at a time moment in a 49er season for a lot of these fans than they're going to experience over the next 3 weeks. And the price of poker just keeps on re-anteing. You keep on pushing more money into the middle for the big pot with each and every win. So this is it, man. We have really reached the most fun time of the year. And like you said, it could go in 2 different directions. One of them spectacular. One of them would be colossally disappointing. I don't think colossally disappointing is really out there for them. I don't, Larry. I don't think that that's too braggadocious. This is a good and well-run team, and good and well-run teams win an awful lot of games in this league. And that seems to be, look, there's not a single dominant team out there. Like, with all due respect to the Rams, who, had a hell of a game, had a hell of a game plan. If in defeat Stafford didn't win the MVP last night, I don't know what people are looking at. This guy went against one of the hardest defenses to play against on the road, threw for 450, whatever it was, 3 touchdowns. I mean, what more could Stafford have done to win that game? He was spectacular. But the freaking Seahawks, when it mattered the most, they get it done. I mean, thanks, Sam. Seriously. I mean,
he was so Sam Darnold last night with that pick six that wasn't quite a pick six, but then they scored on the next play. I mean, that's just so
experience.
Sam Darnold.
It was full experience. And Larry, that 2-point try. Look, Sean McVay this morning, last night he says, I'm not here making any excuses, but he's got a right to be chippy about that 2-point try. Just the way it went down.
Okay, I mean, so let's talk about that.
Well, they were lining up. I just want to say that they were lining up for the ensuing kickoff when they said, no. Let's come back and look at this again. And
let's talk about it for a second. They're we've been playing football for a long time. And heck, I can remember, there are certain rules of football that are just, very constant. And one of them is that if you throw the ball backwards, it's a lateral and it's live. And that means that if he had thrown that and some Ram had picked it off, he's going back for a touchdown. As soon as that ball went off of his guy and bounced, it's a live ball. And the fact is that the Rams didn't jump on it. Seattle did. And it's a lateral. I mean, it's a lateral, it's a live ball, and it wasn't recovered. So it's like it's like you're watching this and you're sitting there going, okay, it's either a forward pass and it's an incomplete pass, or it's a backward pass and it's a lateral. And then if it's a lateral, it's a live ball. And then Seattle jumped on it, so it's a touchdown.
But it's
a 2-point conversion.
The initial ruling was forward pass incomplete.
Right, but it is reviewable because all scoring plays are. And when they reviewed it, I mean, we could bust out if we wanted to the aerial view because it's all over Twitter, and you can see that it definitely was going backwards.
It was a backward pass.
Yeah. So as soon as he doesn't catch it, it's live, and it's anybody's ball, and LA just wasn't in the moment, didn't react. Seattle, I wouldn't even say Seattle reacted, right? Because that guy didn't pick it up like it's a touchdown. He picked it up like just I'm picking it up.
Yeah, I'm going to just hand this to the ref because I'm going to be a good football player today, and I'm going to make friends with this line judge and flip him the ball.
It looked wrong in live speed. Also, it looked innocuous, and the way everybody reacted, you would just think, dead ball, nothing. Because both teams,
it really was. It looked like it was crazy. Just how nuts that was. That was the largest fourth quarter comeback in Seattle franchise history. The Seahawks became just the 5th team in NFL history to convert 3 2-point conversions in the fourth quarter and in overtime. And they're the first team to win while doing so. There's a lot of chasing a score you're not going to reach there. Seattle's really doing that. And it was just amazing to see that 2-point play. By the way, what a great game-winning 2-point try. What a great game-winning 2-point try that really was. That was a perfect play call. No one was looking at Sauerbert. It was a great, great call. You always
use JSN as the decoy. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, here's the one play you got in your bag that you have been sitting on all year for the moment you need to unwrap it, and that play certainly for Seattle. Look, that really is all credit to Seattle. That also was quite a gag job by the Rams, honestly. Look, they miss a field goal. They allow a touchdown on special teams, the weirdest 2-point conversion of all time. And since 1975, Larry, teams with 400 yards, 0 giveaways, 0 sacks taken, who forced 3 turnovers were 79-0. Now 79-1.
Wow. That tells you what we were watching last night was an all-timer. And by the way, we had an all-time post game last night. I had Sterling Bennett on. We had over 6,000 people in the room on post game Thursday night football.
That's how big. Look, that's
6,000. That was like remember we had a 10,000 show, you and I?
Yeah.
We had 10,000 people in the room at one point for one of our live streams. We had 6,000 last night. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, is that right? And I'm looking up. But you know what's amazing too is that the Rams at the end of regulation. I mean, this game really could have gone anywhere. It was 3rd and 10 at the Ram 49-yard line, and they're literally there's like 53 seconds left. If they get the first down there, they're probably going to get the field goal, and they're just going to win. They're going to win before the thing even gets to overtime on the last-second field goal. And, instead, Stafford threw incomplete on a ball to Puka, who was spectacular last night. 12 catches for 225. But if they convert on that 3rd and 10 on the Rams' last possession, they are absolutely they've got 45 seconds left. They got a fresh set of downs. They've got basically 2 or 3 plays to get a first down to get into field goal range. They were literally a play or two from field goal range and ending it. And instead, they want a punting. It goes to overtime, and then we get a touchdown in overtime, and you think, well, Puka scores, they're going to win. But no, then the Seahawks come back and drive down and score. And then I'll give Mike McDonald credit, man. That was a big balls call to go for it at all. I mean, would you have gone for it there? Would you have gone for the 2-point conversion?
100%. The tie doesn't really help you in the grand scheme of things.
But there was time left. So the Rams were going to get it back with a chance to, I guess maybe their thinking was the Rams are either going to beat us or we're going to tie. So let's go for 2.
Yeah.
Let's go for the win.
Look,
it worked.
Why not? Why not go for it right there? That was we're not just trying to win this game. We're trying to be something this season.
Yeah.
That was a big balls call, man. It was a big balls call, and I congratulate how often in your life have you rooted for the Seattle Seahawks? I've done it once. It was last night. And I'm glad to see that Sam Darnold and company came out. Look, you had the full Sam Darnold experience. Richard Sherman
stinks, man.
Richard Sherman summed it up. It was now or never. Like, it was now or never for Sam Darnold in that moment. And after having some really suspect moments in that game, when it mattered most in overtime on that crucial drive, he made some really nice plays. And then, of course, the best 2-point conversion in Niners history that the Niners didn't actually run is what we saw. And now, again, ball's in your court, San Francisco. The ball is in your court in a way that no one could have imagined. Again, the day that Nick Bosa looked up to the press box and was just like, they could be the 1 seed. And it's absolutely incredible that 2 49er alumni are involved. Should the Niners win a Super Bowl this year, does Sauerbert get a ring?
He doesn't get a ring, but he's gonna get a lot of free rounds of golf probably from the Niners. I mean,
does he like to play Pebble? He's got a tee time waiting, baby.
Oh man, there's like 10 guys in that room that want to go play golf with Saubert. No, but I mean, not only that.
Did you see Kittle right away? He's like, "That's my boy."
Yeah. Well, I will say this too. Shit's starting to come together for the Niners. I mean, let's talk about this for a second. This is what's coming together right now. They're playing the Colts this weekend. We'll get into the Colts. We don't want to overlook Jonathan Taylor. We don't want to overlook their run game. We don't want to overlook the Niners' horrible run D. But you get Phillip Rivers. This could have been Daniel Jones a month ago. Now it's not. Okay, now you're getting Phillip Rivers, who's 44, coming off of his first game in 5 years. So that's a huge break. Then you go into this into the Seattle matchup at the end of the year. They're not going to have Charles Cross. And if you got caught last night's game, Nick Emanwari went out, Kobe Bryant went out, Julian Love went out. That's, those are 3 key defensive backs. Now, I don't know. Emanwari is just playing amazing. I mean, he is playing so great right now. And for them to lose him and Julian Love and Kobe Bryant all in one game. Now, I don't know. They're not getting Cross back by the Niner game. They may get those guys back, but they're banged up in the secondary. Now they're banged up on the offensive line. Then you look at a Bears team. Didn't they lose Colston Loveland?
Yes.
I think the Bears lost Colston Loveland. So that's a huge break. And
He wasn't doing much anyways, but it's
well,
sure.
no,
I mean,
he's actually been pretty hot. I have him on my fantasy team. He's actually scored 2 or 3 touchdowns in the last month or so. He was starting to heat up. So anything that slows them down a little bit, then you've got the Seahawks being slowed down a little bit. It's starting to come together for the 49ers. Now, let's talk about
beginning to look
Sunday.
a lot like playoffs.
Let's talk about Sunday, because the Niners have allowed 5.4 yards per carry in the last 3 games. They've given up 136 yards rushing per game over the last 3 games. That ain't good enough. And when we asked Shanahan about it yesterday, testament or credit to him, he said, yeah, it hasn't been good enough. He's like, we know we need to do better, especially with the challenge coming up this weekend with such a great running team. I mean, I can sit here and make excuses for stats and things like that, but it hasn't been good enough. So we work on it schematically. We work on it individually with the players and stuff like that. We're hoping we can have a better showing this weekend. So here comes Jonathan Taylor, Damon, and the Colts are the 6th best rushing attack in pro football. They run for 128.5 yards per game. They're really good. Yards per carry, 4.6. Taylor leads the NFL in carries, yards, rushing touchdowns, and I'm 7th in yards per attempt.
Every Niner fan should just brace themselves right now. They're going to get gashed in the running game. They are. It's going to happen. Hopefully,
the question is to what degree?
Tatum Bethune, right? Hopefully, Tatum Bethune is back in there, and just that difference is one more tackle on a 2nd and long that now sets up a 3rd and very long that Phillip Rivers can't complete. It's just, tackling on 2nd down to set up. Phillip has got to throw it on 3rd down. I think is going to be key in this Monday night game. I think, though, Larry, not that there's continuity between weeks to weeks, but this game plan that they got to go to Indianapolis with, it's eerily similar to the Titans game. Do the very best you can to make the running back work for every inch he gets, and you dare the quarterback to beat you. And that's what I think they're going to do. Kyle was very praiseworthy of Phillip Rivers this week, said all the nice and right things. And look, he is right. That is a future Hall of Fame computer that man has in his head. He can step back into the NFL after 5 years off and start reading complicated defenses better than a lot of guys who've been playing all season long. But there is nothing left on that arm. Kyle can be publicly praising Phillip Rivers all he wants. Gus Bradley and Robert Saleh have to be licking their chops looking at Phillip Rivers and the zero gas that he has on any of his throws. He's got a Hall of Fame quarterback mind. He's got a high school player arm right now. There's nothing in that arm, Larry.
I know, but here's the question, though. What do you do? Because there is not a look that you're going to give him that's going to slow him down. He's seen all the looks. He's done all the mental reps. So it's really, and he's going to as you said, not drive it down the field. He's looking to dump it off short, but they also have, maybe one of the best tight ends going right now. I'm telling my corners to jump every route. That ball's coming in slow. You got a chance to break on that ball before the receiver does. Jump on that route. Yeah. I would say when you look at this Colts team, it's, one thing that we didn't see last week. We didn't see them really hook up as far as Phillip Rivers and Tyler Warren, their number 1 tight end. We just didn't see it. It didn't happen last week. I would say look for that this week, because Warren is a great player and they need to get him involved. And I would say they're going to get him involved. So the Niners have struggled defending tight ends at times this year. So I would say bring 11 hats to the party on Jonathan Taylor. Hopefully Tatum Bethune is back in there making tons of tackles. And hopefully the Niners can maybe use Pinnock a little bit on the tight end. I don't know. They're going to have to figure out a way to defend Tyler Warren because Colts almost beat Seattle in Seattle last week, and they did it largely without Tyler Warren doing anything, and he's been a major player for them. So it's going to be a huge game. The key, I would say, is you got to keep Taylor under 150. If he goes for 130, the Niners have given up yards and have been the less efficient team running it for a few weeks now, but they keep winning these games. So I'm not saying that you let Taylor run all over you, but I'm saying if you can keep him between 100 and 150, if you can keep him under 150, I think you got a shot. If he starts rumbling for over 150 and it's 8 yards a carry, I mean, it's just going to be then Rivers doesn't even really have to do that much.
Another, I think, like unique aspect to it's similar to kind of what you just saw against Tennessee is the Colts' best defensive player is just like the Titans' best defensive player. It's a defensive tackle right in the middle. Last week it was Jeffrey Simmons. This week it's DeForest Buckner. So I think there's some similarity in the game plan there too. I do think that the 49ers, again, it's starting to point in the right direction at the right time. Just some other things that you said, like it's coming together, Larry. How about this? Special teams, which I'm going to be suspect of until the year is over, right? Like I'm never going to stop waiting for the piano to fall, the anvil to hit the 49ers on special teams. But it's been great lately. It really has. They've gone a franchise record 13 straight games without missing a field goal. The one field goal that it looked like, Pinheiro missed, well, there was an offset. There was a personal foul, roughing the center. And so that got wiped off. And here we go. We're still playing football. So the one actual miss didn't count. Pinheiro remains perfect. We know that Morstead's going to be all rested up. He didn't punt at all last week. They've been so much better on kickoff and punt and kickoff coverage that, it's just, for a team that's got a lot of incompletes, they've also really circled the wagons on some of their bright, easy to identify weaknesses, and they have improved there. I don't know if they're going to be able to improve, and now we can get to the quarterback. Like over under on 5 sacks between now and the time the Niners are eliminated.
Oh, I'll go over.
Well,
I feel good about it, actually.
We're talking about a sample size that is almost like on pace for, what do they got, 16 sacks? They could have, best case scenario, they got 6 games left this year, right? That's them in the Super Bowl. 6 games.
Who's their best 2 sack guys? Probably Cleve Farrell and Keon White, and those guys have only been playing for a few weeks. So, yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. I mean, they lost Bosa, and then it's like they had to kind of rediscover, like, well, how are we doing this? They blitzed a lot. They blitzed a little. They tried this guy. They tried that guy. They've been trying to figure out what works.
So I wanted to ask you,
what has started to work is they have Cleve Farrell, and Farrell's got 4.5 sacks in 4 games or 5 games, and now you've got Keon White, and Keon White's playing ball right now.
Would you give Matthew Judon a call, who just got cut by the Dolphins?
Lynch was asked about that.
I looked it up. He's got 0 sacks in 13 games, so he'd fit right in.
Right, but he hasn't played very much either. The Dolphins had other guys. They had Jalen Phillips. They had Bradley Chubb. If you look at, he's actually played much better in the last 3 games. But either way, Lynch was asked about it this morning by Murph, and he said, "Hey, we like the internal options that we have. You never say never. You're always interested to look, but it sounds like they would probably have to lose another body before they'd be interested in him. I would sign him to the practice squad just for the hell of it, but." Maybe he won't sign to the practice squad. To me, the biggest guy in this game is going to be Tatum Bethune because he hasn't played, and the Colts were the most run-heavy team in all of the NFL last week, according to Next Gen Stats. Bethune's got a 29% tackle rate against the run. That's the highest among all linebackers with at least 250 defensive snaps. I think Bethune gets back out there and he rumbles with a 12 tackle performance, and the Niners do a decent job. The Colts are not scoring points. The Colts can they generate more offense? They've been averaging 17 points a game in their past 4 games. Past 4 games, they're averaging 17 a game. And this was the hottest offense in the league early on. They led the league in scoring and yards per game through week 10. Through week 10, they had the best offense in football. Then they lose Daniel Jones to an Achilles injury. And now they got Rivers, and he threw for 120 last week. And so to me, it's all about, can you stop that run and make Rivers beat you? And then, and also for the 49ers, the Niners' best defense could easily be, their best run defense easily is their offense. Just score some points. You get up there 24 points, 30 points, you get in that range, you're going to take away the Colts run game in the second half. To me, if there's one game plan, it's try to get an explosive offensive first half so that you can potentially take away their run game in the second half.
And just go ahead and give me all the 10 to 13 play drives that you got. Gobble up clock. Keep Jonathan Taylor with his helmet in his hand on the sideline. That's the way to go. The Colts are not a quick strike team, especially with Pierce. I think I saw him limited in practice, if not out in practice this week. Then there's really not a big, deep threat. And even if there was, I'm not sure Phillip Rivers can quite get it there. So I look. Welcome to Wake Up, everyone. It is great to have you here. Like and subscribe. Little Christmas presents for everyone. If you're not liked and subscribed to both of these channels, please do. Thank you so much for being here. I got to tell you, a lot of time in the kitchen is about to happen, which means you don't want to be really cooking right now. Get to Ike's, order a sandwich, order 2, order 3, put a couple in the fridge. Big meaty sandwich for dinner. You're gonna have a whole bunch of big holiday dinners coming up. A sandwich for dinners always sound like a good idea to me. Get to Ike's and get to the Dubliner West Portal in San Francisco for the best Guinness. Great time to spend a little holiday cheer around the bar. And Larry, it's also a lot easier to do than cook a big Christmas dinner. Head to Pig and a Pickle and pick up some barbecue, baby.
It's funny. Yes, you're absolutely right. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Thanks to Damon. Thanks to Mary. Thanks to all the good people at Pig and a Pickle. Last night on the stream, we got a bunch of people saying, hey, man, I live in Petaluma, and I can't wait till they open their spot in Petaluma in 2026. So 2026 promises to be a great year ahead for Pig and a Pickle, and they are opening in Petaluma. It's great food, and, I can sit here and talk about them. Damon can talk about them. We were both out there for the Krug Show meet and greet a couple of Sundays ago, and it's great barbecue, but really it speaks for itself. Just go try it yourself and you'll be a fan. Thanks to all the people who came out, by the way. It was a really awesome turnout for the Krug Show meet and greet. But yeah, thanks to Damon and Mary. Also thanks to Sleeper. 49er football season is presented by Sleeper, the fastest growing fantasy platform in the world. It's a one-stop shop. You get blazing fast news, real-time stats, group chat, season-long leagues, and of course, Sleeper picks for daily fantasy. So use promo code Larry. Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. Links in the description. Terms and conditions do apply. Damon, thank you for putting that up there.
Yeah, how about that, huh? Do you see that? You see that?
I was looking for Kev in the back room. I didn't see him. I'm like, you know what? It wasn't me. It wasn't Kev. It had to be Damon. So there you go. But thanks to Pig and a Pickle. Thanks to Sleeper. And thanks to all of you guys for, supporting our channels. Damon and I have been doing this for a while, but, seeing the momentum, seeing the growth of both channels, seeing where this has gone has been really gratifying to both of us and our families. So thank you to all of you who have supported the Krug Show or the Plus or Wake Up. And so many people, by the way, at the meet and greet were like, I love Wake Up. I live for Wake Up. And you get it too, I'm sure. If there's ever like, are you guys going to do a Wake Up on this one, this day, that day? So guys, just so you know, this week, obviously we're here on a Friday. We will be with you on Monday. Okay. So don't forget Monday, even though the Niners, it'll be kind of a wake up pregame, but so next week we'll be with you Monday and Tuesday. So, cause we're going to be with you Monday, Tuesday. Damon's going to have to carry Tuesday because Monday is a late night. I'll be doing my post game. I probably won't get to the rack till about 2:00 in the morning on Tuesday. The great Sam Batesh is in the his A. What's up? Look at that. Look at that. Anyway, we'll be with you Monday and Tuesday on Wake Up next week. And then what about Friday, Damon? What is Friday? I haven't checked my Christmas. Is that Christmas?
When is God? I'm in like the fog of the holidays right now. I can't figure out anything. Yeah, Christmas is Thursday next week.
Yeah, it is.
We could do, Larry. We could do a Friday if you're down with the 26th, a Friday wake up. Why not? Why wouldn't we?
What's the date of that? Do you have the date? Because one of those dates.
Well, Friday, the day after Christmas.
Oh, it's 26. Okay.
We're gonna.
There we go.
I'm gonna plus one on that one. Yeah.
Look at that. Look at Sammy. Sammy, good to see you, man. Thanks for jumping in. We'll take our Oh, there we go. We can move it that way. So what'd you think last night?
Oh,
I mean, what's
man.
the talk in LA? What's the talk at ESPN LA as the Rams? Is it all about we got screwed? Or is it you know what? Seattle just found a way to win.
It's really a beautiful conversation because it's three-pronged. Okay. I represent one of the prongs, but I'm gonna tell you the other two that are happening. Okay. So the Puka Nacua thing, are you guys up to speed with this entire sort of what I'll call it's interesting at this point.
How's the anti-Semitism in the Rams locker room this morning, Sammy?
Yeah, look, during Hanukkah, it's not a great time for that. And then his brother's stealing cars from Lakers players, right? Like there's a lot going on there. But most importantly, so here's what
as a rule, it's not good to steal cars.
No, in general, I mean, right? I'm sure that
I've got a platform of anti-car stealing for a long time.
I don't think Kevin is stealing cars, right? I think you raised him better than that, Larry. Yeah, absolutely.
I hope.
And Jack and Ozzy, it's not happening. So here's the way this
Ozzy.
works.
I tell you. That's the one to keep an eye on.
Right. You just don't know.
Down in the front seat playing with the wires. I don't know, guy.
There are no guarantees. But here's the Puka Nacua thing. So he says what he says on that stream where he suggests that the refs are out there just flexing on TV so they can get TV time, right? So then we're all assuming watching the game, it's like, oh wow, when's it gonna happen, right? Like when's Puka gonna get a call against him or not get a call that's a clear penalty, right? When's that going to happen? Obviously, Puka Nacua had a pretty good game, right? So then Puka goes out and goes for 225 and 2 scores, right? It's the most ridiculous. I mean, it's the best receiving performance of this year. And you could even say, like, in the history of this league, it's on the list. It's on the list.
It's on the list. It was a really big night by any standard.
I mean, it's just like whether you've got anti-Semitism floating around, whether your brother stole a car, whether you said something on a stream, no matter what, even if you have no tongue, that is a game that's in the history.
Hamas has a really big receiving night.
Hey, people are insulted. Cars come and go. You know how hard it is to find somebody who can win on the outside?
So, and then in overtime, right? Like seemingly putting it away in overtime also, right? Okay, so there's that. So, and we can say for the game, I mean, Nacua, there were no calls for against Puka, right? There was no moment where it was about Puka per se. So that's fine. You're almost through it from that standpoint. The controversy, of course, is after the game, Puka tweets out essentially like, thanks refs for proving me right, because they're upset about the 2-point conversion that tied the game.
It was the process was squirrely.
Exactly. And I would say overall, I mean, it's not one where you're saying, I mean, does that go against the Rams to that extent? I mean, the amount of things that had to happen to go against the Rams, I just don't think that has nothing to do with the refs. And I'm not a big conspiracy theory guy. So and it wasn't with what there was, it's not like there was no time left. There's still 6 minutes left in the game. So 30-28, 30-30 at that point, you could argue maybe Seattle wins it in regulation 31-30 at that point with a game-winning field goal, right? I just don't know. All I'm going to say is, was it odd to line up for a field goal thinking that it's 30-28, only to then confer, put the 2 points on the board? That leaves you open to the conversation. I'm going to squash that. I'm going to say forget about the controversy. The guy went for 225. He deletes the tweet. I'm sure him and McVay will have a conversation. Ultimately, he backed up. If this was going to be a short week full of distractions, Puka's not a guy you're pointing out in film this week, right? Like do your job is like not a conversation for Puka this week whatsoever. He single-handedly has them in position to win that game. So I just want to squash that and throw it away. They picked up Darnold 4 times in a game that came down to a field goal. So it's not surprising that they win the turnover battle yet again. Did you hear the statistic though? The first team in NFL history to have 500 yards of offense +3 in the turnover and lose a game. That's wild. So there's that. Okay, so there's the conversation about Puka, number one. Number two is, have the Rams blown it, right? It's basically this year's NFC West is last year's NFC North, and Sam Darnold's in the middle of it yet again, right? This is basically Detroit, Minnesota is now what's happening, except you've got 3 teams instead of 2. So the one conversation is Puka. The second conversation is, have the Rams just lost every chance, not at winning the Super Bowl, but it being the 1 seed, and those conversations are very closely related. So
look, I'm going to tell you right now, the Rams are a really good football team. I don't care what happened last night. A special teams mistake, you prevent that from happening, they win. Although
now it's a theme. Special teams is costing this team. the Rams lost to the Eagles on special teams, right? And now largely you're going to say special teams punt return in this game turns the game around for Seattle. So it's starting to be
mention
a theme.
They got a lucky kick, right?
Yes.
Mevis kicked that one where the snap was really high, and I don't know how he got that through. It was actually a brilliant kick by him.
Yes, it was. And then also Mevis misses his first kick. So there's that as well. So special teams is starting to become a little bit of a theme there. And so those are the two. Puka's the conversation, 1 seed for the Rams, and then the conversation I am introducing to the group because I'm the guy here in LA. But I don't get caught up in, we're not in this tunnel where, all you see is, it's coming down to Seattle and the Rams. I've been beating this drum. And Damon, you know this. I texted you how long ago? Did I text you a month ago with this? I think 3 weeks ago, I texted you with 1 seed path is 49ers. It was the day the Bears took the 1 seed. So this is now 2 weeks ago, right before they lost the Packers. When the Bears took the 1 seed, I broke out the calculator. I looked at the schedules and I said, wow, this last place schedule is going to save the Niners again, because you would think that the better matchup at this point late in the season would be the fact that they get a Lions game. But no, it's a Bears game that's going to launch them to the 1 seed. So Niners with Seattle and Chicago on this and only 2 conference losses to this point, Niners are in the front seat here. So I'm whispering to everybody, everyone's so worried about, no one saw the Niners. It was like, this is the quietest run to a 1 seed I've ever seen. And it is now unfolding perfectly. And it's funny when you get caught in the moment and you're looking at standings and you're looking at divisions and you don't see what's not right on top and right in front of you and what's obvious. And I just flipped the standings 1 column over and was looking at conference record, because that in the end was going to play the factor. And it looks like it's going to. Obviously, you got to win the division. But again, as you and I have spoken about many times, Damon, AFC games, don't worry about them. Don't worry about it.
You want them, but
now you need, right.
It's survivable.
And you would trade them. That's what I'm saying. If it's about preparing, if it's about putting yourself in the best position for an NFC win, trade it for an AFC loss. That's all.
I'll say this. How would you guys rank the Niners' final 3 games? Do you, as far as difficulty? Because I'm bringing that up because there's a guy from CBS Sports I've never heard of, Garrett Podell.
Oh, so I'll give you a little history on him. I do.
You know him?
So yeah. So Garrett is a researcher. He was hired. I believe he's from NFL Network. I actually believe he worked a little bit with Siciliano at NFL Network. He got hired by a guy named Justin Page, who runs all the research at CBS, who's a brilliant dude. Garrett came over, and at first he was just helping the research team. Then he started writing stories. He's got these great sort of historical perspectives on things. And then they've been putting him on the air a little bit as well because of it, because he's got these really great theories on things. So I mean, he's smart.
He seems pretty smart. Okay, so this is what Podell wrote.
Inexpensive on-air talent.
Yeah, he's saying basically that Rivers is going to carve up the Niners.
Wow.
And he's going to throw for 300 yards. Here's his quote. He says, Phillip Rivers nearly led the Colts to a win in an 18-16 loss at Seattle in his first start in 1,800 days, an accomplishment in and of itself.
True that.
Still, the performance was uneven. Rivers threw for just 120 yards with 1 touchdown, 1 pick, completed only 2 of 8 throws of 10-plus air yards, finished 1 for 5 for 2 yards when pressured, and relied heavily on short throws behind the line of scrimmage. But this guy believes that the matchup is favorable because the Niners can't rush the passer. They rank last in the NFL, 16 sacks, 6 fewer than the next team, by the way. Rivers will take advantage of the lack of pressure, even at 44 years old, and post a 300-yard passing day against one of the NFC's top teams. I don't see it at all. I really don't. I see Phillip Rivers getting knocked on his fanny and knocked out of this game. I think we're going to see Riley Leonard in the second half of this game.
So I heard something you said right before I hopped on, which was about the run game for the Colts, which I see as much more of an issue here. And I see that. I see this as everyone's forgotten Jonathan Taylor's MVP conversation. That could rear its head again this week. I see Monday Night Football as an opportunity for Jonathan Taylor to reestablish. And I would say as great as Rivers was last week, first of all, Rivers was good. I'm not going to say he was exceptional. It's a field goal game that goes back and forth. And yes, it was a considering the context of where Phillip Rivers was 2 weeks ago, it's an outstanding performance.
It's a better story than it is a performance.
Again, look at performances. Quarterback performances were on display in last night's game, right? You got Stafford over 450. Darnold with his, by the way, we said it's Darnold's best game since USC. We all said that, right? Clearly and obviously that is Darnold's greatest game.
Picks.
But it is his greatest performance as a professional, Larry. It is.
He almost threw a pick six.
Yet, game, he has every excuse at that point to be done with that game, to lead that drive.
JSN was shut out in the first half for no yards, no catches.
But the throws he makes on that drive, when Stafford's the guy who's missed their game-winning drive and Sam Darnold comes in to say not so fast, including a great pass and call in the 2-point conversion to win it. So all I'm telling you is Phillip Rivers is not in that game that way last night. Right? Darnold did not put that performance against Seattle is not what he did. So I don't think that's going to happen against the Niners. I think Jonathan Taylor, and I think, frankly, the Colts see it as an opportunity against the Niners also. I mean, look at what Tony Pollard looked pretty damn good. I mean, if you're in a fantasy playoff with Tony Pollard on your roster last week against the Niners, guess what? You won that game.
Yeah,
Tony Pollard was great.
If you can't stop Tyjae Spears, how can you feel great about stopping Jonathan Taylor? But it's a week-to-week league, and
of course,
the players that the Niners are bringing in this game probably will be better than the players they put on the field in the last game. I mean, there's no question that Phillip Rivers may not have to do a whole lot. If Jonathan Taylor runs for 158 yards and 2 touchdowns and 6 yards a carry, Phillip Rivers may not have to do very much, but there's a lot of ifs there. I think the 49ers are gonna fire in this game. I also think the 49ers offensively are going to score points.
Yes.
If you look at the breakdown, the statistical breakdown of this Colts defense, it's not stellar.
Larry, I can see your eyes searching for the stat you want. Let me give you these while you're looking for that. The 49ers, since Brock Purdy returned, are 4-0. 4th in points per game in the NFL, number 2 in quarterback rating in the NFL, and number 1 on third down in the NFL.
Number 1 on third down.
That's a monster number. That's better
if you like that sort of thing.
Than points per game, the way that the Niners need to go about winning. The Niners don't need gaudy scores. They got to keep the other team from having a gaudy score, and that is best served by again,
you just said it, Damon. You just said it. You got Brock Purdy.
You can give me.
You got Brock Purdy against the 31st pass defense in pro football. That's what the Colts are.
Without
31st.
Without Sauce Gardner. They're not going to get him. He's not playing this week.
He's hurt. And they've got other guys that are hurt. So I think the 49ers should be able to pass successfully in this game. The question is, can the Niners stop the run? And can the Niners run the ball? The Colts run defense is top 5 in the league. Shanahan said it to me the other day. He's like, they're the number 1 run D as far as yards per carry against. So it's going to be very challenging for the 49ers to run the ball. But 31st against the pass, 31st. Oof. So I think Brock Purdy's going to throw for 3 bills.
Well, look, Purdy came off a great game. Purdy with 3 touchdowns in the last game. And again, now with that loss by the Rams last night, not that the Niners aren't trying to win out. They were regardless of that. But this is such an opportunity to have that Thursday result going into this Monday game, to have all these days to think about what you're in position to do. This is, and the Colts, are the Colts unraveling? I mean, I think that's yes. The Colts season is,
4 in a row.
I told you the 5-game losing streak was coming.
Coming. Damon, you nailed this one.
Guess who has lost 4 in a row?
And here comes 5.
And here comes 5. By the way, the Colts are 6-1 at home this season. That's not to be overlooked. But then the 49ers are 6-2 on the road.
There's nobody's shaking about going into Indy. That's just like, so. let's not discuss, places that you just can't play in December in this league. Indianapolis is not on the list at all in any way since Peyton Manning has left. So that's it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think that Phillip Rivers' success last week, and success is a sliding scale for Phillip Rivers, right? Sure. His success last week is going to be harder to find now that there's 60 minutes of game tape on him. There you go. And that was a nice surprise from Seattle to have that. Yes. Seriously. And I just think that this is
Robert Saleh and Gus Bradley got to be licking their chops. If there was ever a week for a defensive back or a safety to hold on to the interception that looked like it was breadbasketed, it's this week. Jump every single route. This ball is coming in at 17 miles an hour.
Phillip Rivers is going to be beatable. And Indy, by the way, was beatable with a quarterback that was better. Daniel Jones got hurt because he was getting pressure. Daniel Jones and everything that Indy had done early in the season was out the window. Daniel Jones wasn't hurt in the midst of them peaking at their performance. This was slipping apart before Daniel Jones became a part of this equation. And I'm going to point at one other thing. If Indy's season does truly unravel the way that it looks like that it's going to, credit to Daniel Jones. This is, again, another ridiculous scar on one guy. Anthony Richardson, are you freaking kidding me that you're not available now that we bow tied a season prepared for the playoffs? We took the guy that got us there. He's injured, and here's your opportunity to now step in and just keep it afloat. We've actually done all of the difficult work at this point. Keep it afloat, come in, and now you can be a hero on this whole thing. And you injure yourself warming up a month ago? What the hell is going on with Anthony Richardson? That story is it's not as bad as what's going on in Cleveland in the quarterback room, but it's bad. It's bad. Anthony Richardson, that is this has put this organization backwards, and all of us, Larry, I'd love to know what you think. I think all of us would have signed up for Anthony Richardson. That's a guy that looks like he's going to play in the mold of Lamar Jackson, and it's a joke to even say them in the same sentence.
I mean, he doesn't have the feel right now. I mean, I got to question his heart because he took himself out. I mean, I've talked about it already this week. I mean, Anthony Richardson's physical skill set is the greatest. We're talking about 6'4", 240, runs 4.4, has the biggest arm in the league. I mean, if the Cowboys want to take a shot on Joe Milton, why wouldn't you take a shot on Anthony Richardson first? Because Joe Milton doesn't have Anthony Richardson's kind of speed. He can throw it like that, but he can't run like this kid. If I were the Niners, I'll tell you, if I were the Niners, and I was talking to somebody from Indy this week, this is the team I would trade Mac Jones to.
Wow.
I would say they don't have a number one. They're all invested. They got Daniel Jones, but he's got an Achilles. He's out next year. So, or he probably should be out next year, at least for a good chunk of the year. So if you're them and you like Daniel Jones, Mac Jones would be reasonable. And if I were the Niners, I'd say give me a second-round pick and Anthony Richardson. Or right. I kind of like Riley Leonard too. I would take Riley Leonard, but I would rather have Anthony Richardson just because of the skill set. And could you imagine?
Price points are way different because Tua got broken off the big number.
Yes.
I don't want Tua. I don't like Tua, but I love Anthony Richardson's. The idea of Anthony Richardson as a goal line package backup. I mean,
come on, he can't be Taysom Hill for somebody. I mean, come on.
Why this guy? Who do you think he could be a wildcat quarterback on the goal line? I mean, I would definitely want Anthony Richardson. First of all, look at what Kyle Shanahan. If you believe, and some people don't, do you believe that Kyle Shanahan's a quarterback whisperer, or do you think that Brock was made and already Jones was made and these guys Kyle hasn't developed anything? If you don't think he's a quarterback whisperer, then you don't want Anthony Richardson. But if you think that Kyle Shanahan and his play calling, his system, and being around him makes quarterbacks better, and you believe that, why wouldn't you want Anthony Richardson?
Hey, everything's coming up, Hoosiers. Curtis Rourke is going to beat out Brock in next year's training camp. I think we all know that. But anyway.
Well, that is the question, though, David. You're right. Right now, they are evaluating Curtis Rourke, and they're probably deciding what they, are going to do at quarterback based on what he looks like. If he looks awesome, then he's probably penciled in as the number 2, and they're going to wave goodbye to Mac. But if he looks shaky, then maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know. And we don't know what he's looking like right
when
now.
Shanahan is doing his Jeff Spicoli, I can fix it. Who do you think he looks at and thinks I can fix it more? Anthony Richardson, who's still basically a complete unknown, or Tua?
But Tua makes $53 million a year.
I understand. Take the price points out of it.
I'm not a Tua guy, dude. I mean, I don't think Tua reads coverage. I don't think Tua's durable. The lefty quarterback thing is always kind of a little bit of a wrinkle as well.
Oh, Larry's going there. Remember, Damon, I said I think I'm out on. I don't even trust lefties now, just writing things down for me anymore because of Tua. I'm so out on Tua. I'm just like scared of left turns now, even because of Tua. Left is just out for me.
Look at the Dolphins right now. I
don't even eat leftovers anymore because of Tua. I just out on left.
What has the resurgence of the Dolphins been about? It's been about Achane and running the ball. That's why they've been doing well. So, I mean, it's not about Tua. I think Tua's kind of a fraud. I'm not a Tua guy. I don't think Tua reads coverage. And if you don't read coverage, it's just a matter of time before you get bounced out of this league. And I think he's on his route to getting bounced. Listen to this, though. I didn't realize this little subplot from last night. Listen to this one. This is the Rams, Ernest Jones, hit the podium the Seahawks, Ernest Jones, hit the podium, the former Ram.
Yeah.
Saying that the Rams were laughing at them last night and that they took it to heart. This is pretty interesting little soundbite. Here's Ernest Jones in the postgame. Listen to this.
We won. I could care less. Just the win matters, and we're moving on. We get a chance to go in the playoffs and keep fighting.
How much does it celebrate a playoff berth today?
Well, I guess we didn't get the soundbite there.
I don't know.
Well,
it's good to hear from Sideshow Bob. It really is.
It was.
Basically, he said that the Rams players said the Seahawks players said that when the Rams were leading 30-14 with 7 minutes left, that they were laughing, man, crazy. It was disrespectful. This is Ernest Jones. There was too much time on the clock. He says he won't name names, but they know who they are.
That's pretty great to hear. And Ernest Jones had that amazing statement after the last time these two teams had played. Remember in the game where Darnold threw the 4 interceptions and they lost on the missed kick? They had an opportunity to win that game. They missed a kick at the end of that game, the Seahawks do. So they nearly won a game where they had 4 interceptions, and they did win a game where they had 3 turnovers. But after that first loss, Ernest Jones said, I don't care who you are, don't talk about my freaking quarterback. And he didn't say freaking. I mean, he was on. I mean, Ernest Jones was powerful in the postgame after that first matchup with the Rams. And you know that he is obviously tied to that emotionally based on where he is and where he was with the Rams. So I'm not surprised by anything Ernest Jones says. And if the Rams thought that was a wrap, we all did. 7 minutes to go. Was it 9 minutes to go in that game? Interception. Rams have the ball up 16.
But if you talk trash, you talk trash and you win, to the victor goes the spoils. You talk trash and you lose, that's a bad look, man. That's a bad look.
Well, look, and there was nothing. These divisional matchups are always interesting because what you say in the first game, there's going to be that second opportunity. So you really got to watch out, right? You got to keep your mouth shut on these divisional games because you know it's coming back to you. And that's it. And Ernest Jones, I mean, look, you keeping receipts, whatnot, and within a game to say something, in a game of that magnitude with Seattle at home, and maybe the Rams thought, no way Darnold's coming back in this one. We got it. It looked like it. It sure looked like it, but that's not the case. And the Rams, look, had the Eagles down and out, lost on bad special teams. Rams had the Seahawks down and out for the 1 seed and let him back in on special teams. So it is an issue. It is. This team, every team's got its fatal flaw. Damon, you said it. These Rams can play with anybody. Yes, they can play with anybody, but a lot of credit to McVay, right? A lot of credit to the Rams doing everything the right way. There's still little moments in these games that the Rams aren't doing the right thing. And that's the difference. That is you cannot, those mistakes, a season ends, right? This isn't, we'll get them next time, right? The next loss of magnitude for the Rams is going to end their season. So you got to be right on these things. And I love that the Niners are nobody. I'm just telling you, on a national landscape, the Niners, it is silent.
It is.
There is nobody discussing the 49ers.
I don't think half the national media even get that they could be the 1 seed.
They hold the map. The story on last night's game is everyone's like, Seattle controls their destiny. That's fine, and that is true. But guess what? So do the Niners. Control. I'm talking control.
Seahawks is in Levi's. And by the way, the big difference between the Niners and the Rams, if the Niners had played that game yesterday in Seattle, that place would have been packed with Niner fans.
Yes.
There was no Ram fans in the house last night. None.
Did you see the Rams watch party at SoFi Stadium? There were at least 17 people there. It was very embarrassing. Anyway, look, let me just say there's no reason to look ahead.
No, it's Indy. It's about Indy. Yeah.
The biggest game of the year is Monday Night Football. And then you get another biggest game of the year, followed by definitely the biggest game of the year. Maybe, because let me just put this out into the ether, okay? The Rams wrap up with the Falcons next week. That just feels like a Rammy win. And then the Cardinals in the final week.
They've quit.
Thanks for coming, Arizona. They're officially in let's improve the draft position mode. We got this Sunday the biggest game in football, Buccaneers-Panthers.
Oh,
for
yeah.
the soul of the NFC South. You are a Carolina Panther fan if you are a Niner fan officially from here on out, because if the Panthers, whether they win or lose that game against Tampa, up next is Seattle. I could see Seattle losing in Carolina, which would make the game in week 18 against the Seahawks a Mac Jones game.
It makes it a Mac Jones game, and it makes a watching the Rams Cardinals game. That's what it becomes. Yeah, it's that. It's watching the other outcome.
The Niners
tiebreakers.
So if the Niners win the next two, that third game against Seattle could be
Seattle
well, if Seattle loses, right,
Carolina.
yes. But if they're tied, obviously it's everything. And I would say right now, Sunday Night Football is making a plan right now for Levi's Sunday Night Football Week 18.
And
Sam Darnold,
they're wearing the black unis. The Niners are wearing their alt unis that night.
I love that helmet, Damon. You and I discussed a lot the black unis. I'm actually a big fan. But right now, Sam Darnold is poised to play Sunday Night Football Week 18 in back-to-back seasons with a 1 seed, 5 seed split on the line yet again in the same position on the road yet again. That's what he is set up to do right now.
Did Sam Darnold use up all of his cosmic juju last night? There's the question.
You know what? And if he did, it was worth it. Because again, clinching a spot, putting him at the 1 seed in the moment, putting him in the front seat for the NFC West, all of that's, and you know what? Was he in? How about this? It's tough to remember actually, but was he ever in this good a spot in Minnesota where they were this close to being the 1 seed? I don't remember this late in the season. I think Detroit always was, because Detroit had that head-to-head at the moment. This will be interesting. If it comes down to it. I love that Darnold's in this position again, and the fact that nobody is mentioning the Niners is my favorite part, because again, people just like can't, the math is too hard because you got 2 teams ahead of them, so everyone's like, okay, they're out. Yeah, see you later. No. The path is there.
What do you guys think we're going to see on Monday night? Is it going to be a big Niner coronation and they're going to kick ass? To me, this game is not going to. I don't see Niners Colts as close. I think it's either going to be the Colts run the heck out of the ball with Jonathan Taylor, and everything goes right for them on some magic carpet ride, and they get a multiple score win, or more likely the 49ers knock Phillip Rivers out, slow down that run game, put up 30 of their own, and win comfortably on the road. Because you're right. Nobody's talking about the Niners. They will on Monday night.
But Monday, all the scenarios are going to be there. You're going to see it. Yeah, you're going to see it Monday. You're going to see the Niners. It's the opening storyline is Phillip Rivers is back from wherever he was, and if the Niners win 3 games, they're the 1 seed. That's the setup for Monday Night Football, period, coming into that game. I see it as an 8-point Niners win.
The line is 5.5, I think, this morning.
Yeah.
Niners cover.
There you go.
Yeah, I like the Niners.
I do too.
I like the Niners big in this game.
That's right.
I think Rivers, this is the spot you want to be in. Rivers will not fire in this game. They'll sell out to stop the run. They're not worried about him throwing the ball over their head. And then I think the Niners, the one thing about the 49ers, the Niners' best defensive strategy is what they do on offense. The 49ers have 32 offensive drives this year of 10 or more plays. That's the most in the NFL. The Niners have 30-plus drives of 5 minutes or more. That's the most in the NFL. They dominate the time of possession and I think they're gonna have long extended drives and beat this Colts team by 14 or more.
I think the first quarter
Niners by 17.
Again, the Niners in Super Bowl years, the Niners at their best, and people hold this against them. They're front runners. They want to get up early and squat on a game, and that is put them into Super Bowls, by the way. So
you're right about that, Damon. And consider the opponent, perhaps, but the Niners offensively were outstanding on third down against Tennessee.
They've been outstanding since Brock came back on third down against everybody. And people will say, "Well, it's been a soft schedule." Dude, it's a schedule. What are the Niners?
It's the schedule. And right now, and by the way, the schedule right now, play out the end of the schedule. How about this?
It hasn't been a soft schedule.
No. I don't even care. I don't want to argue about what the schedule was. Can we look at the schedule? The schedule is not soft moving forward. It's not. This is three very crucial opponents.
To this point, I mean, people. It was soft when you looked at the records of the teams last year,
right?
But the 3 weeks ago, there was a DVOA breakdown, which is not about projections or last year. It's about this year and what you've actually done. And the 49ers, if you look at the schedule broken down over DVOA, they had the fourth most difficult schedule this year. So, yes, they didn't play a lot of, they played some really bad teams for sure. But this idea that they benefited from some cake schedule and that there's some fraud of a team, no.
And I'll even say, who cares? I'll say this much. Who cares?
Right. I don't care. I really don't care either. And by the way, the whole
not who cares, not who cares about you, Larry. The math is right. I love that. But what I'm saying is, for a Niners fan, one seed is one seed. They're not taking it away. And it's not college football. This was not like plucked from some, right? This wasn't like we made deals with crappy schools. No. The NFL put this out there. And the Bears, which was one of the circled games, that was like the Bears were going to be like, oh, there's a lucky game. They have the Bears instead of the Lions. And now it's the Bears that's the toughest team on their schedule.
So the Bears, the Patriots, and the 49ers can all clinch with wins in their next games. All three of those teams were in last place last year. Going from worst to first happens all the time in football, and it's really not held against any team that does it. So I'm not going to have anybody hold it up against the 49ers and say you're illegitimate for doing it, because it happens all the time. Josh Dubois of the AP, at least one team has made the playoffs after finishing last in their division the previous year in 26 of the last 29 seasons. This could be the third time in the last 4 years that three teams do it. Going from worst to first happens all the time in football, which, by the way, is a damning case against the Browns, the Raiders, and the Jets. I mean,
and it's by the way, it's by design, Damon. By design. Last place schedule is what the league puts in effect for this reason. And as Siciliano has told all of us, this is why every season for 30 years, 4 new teams enter the playoffs. 4 each season. 4 different teams. That's wild, and it happens all the time, and we're seeing it again.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the way it goes. It's the way it goes. It's the whole thing is designed to be even. That's why Kansas City. You look at Kansas City. I mean, they're, is Kansas City one of the worst teams in pro football? No, but this year, whatever, they're 6-8. They're bad. They're not going anywhere. The run's over. They're 1-5 on the road.
One score game. Yeah, and one score games they can't win. Yeah.
All right, let's hit our supers and then we'll bolt for the door here.
Let's do it.
We've got Fuji in the house.
Yes.
Did Damon have to take off? I think Damon just hit the head. Oh, there we go. He's back.
Minnesota missing Darnold. Yeah, I would say largely with what. Yeah,
is Minnesota missing Darnold? Oh,
yeah,
no question. I mean, ask Justin Jefferson's stats that. Fuji Simeon, Larry Puka also said he thinks concussions are all in people's head. Do you think he would have the balls to say that to Junior Seau? Wow.
Okay, Fuji, you used that exact same super chat on my channel just yesterday. Come up with some new material.
Wow.
Oh, no, but look, it is silly to talk about something that could happen to you any minute. Like Puka Nacua is officially putting as much bad juju up in the air as humanly possible. So keep going. Keep talking, Puka.
Yeah, I mean, seriously. I mean, he's a young guy. You got to remember this. We think of Puka as, the football player. He's got, he's got great skill, great this or that. He's like 23.
He's a young dude. Look, think about this.
Really young.
He's on. Think about just the show that he was on. I mean, even to have the foresight to understand, like, that is a popular show, not to the three of us, but to people that are much younger than the three of us. That is a popular show. So Puka is in that demographic. And then after that game, have his phone out for Twitter as the first thing. It's the most historic game of his career. And the first thing he wants to do is put something on Twitter about it. I mean, that is just mental makeup, period.
Yeah, it's youth. Heather says, 49er fan in Kentucky going to Indianapolis for my first Monday Night Football experience. Sure would love to leave happy. Thoughts on win chances? Thanks for your work, guys. We like the Niners. I mean, I like the Niners. I think the 49ers are going to run the table. I think they're going to win these final 3 games. I think they're going to rampage. I think they've lost for the final time this year. I don't think it's a great team, but I also don't think it's a great league. And I think they're going to win all the games. I think they're going to win out. I think they're going to roll through, and there you go. That's where I'm at.
Here's another reason to get that 1 seed. Greg Papa's back in the booth for home games. Greg's back in the booth for home games. I was texting with Bob Sargent yesterday. I said playoffs for Greg at home, and he's like, TBD. Sure. We're going to, see how Greg's doing. But if there isn't a plane involved, Greg Papa probably will be. And that's something everyone wants.
Travis Stewart, F you, Larry, you effing lazy. You guys put on a great show.
Two things can be true, right? Okay.
Kurt says, you magnificent bastages. Gross Matos ready. Yes, he's been practicing. Yeah, Gross Matos is a major player for the Niners. Major interior rusher.
Johnny Dangerously pull there.
That's good.
Farting ice holes.
Oh, yeah.
SF Indigo. I'm working the day after Christmas. Let's go. Wake
26th,
up.
26th.
We're going to get you through it. JD says, Damon, if the 49ers pull this off and get number 6, you have to do a new version of the 12 Days of Yorkmas.
We're going to need I'm going to need a producer to put that together. Currently, I don't have one. If you want to lend me Kevin for a week, Larry, we can do that again.
D, you and I can put our heads together. That sounds like it's worth it.
Favorite Fish song, David. Mine is Backwards Down the Number Line.
Wow.
Oh, that's a bathroom song almost. That's Chick Fish. Tommy, come on. Tweezer, Ghost, Chalk Dust Torture. Give me a tube at all times. I'll take a tube. Thank you.
Nice.
Yeah, you might as well be speaking Swahili to me. Fuji says, I know an NFL will fine Puka, but do you think the Rams as an organization will issue a fine to him as well? Proceeds going to a charity against hate.
No, he didn't do it. He didn't do what everyone said don't do. He doesn't need to be fined. He might get fined for ripping NFL officials. That's going to have nothing to do with anti-Semitism.
True. And I would say that's what it is. The league's looking at what he said. He said stripe. He tweeted stripes. Now, granted, he deleted it. I don't know if that plays into it at this point. And it's different than college football, but will the league look for the Rams to do something first and then judge on that?
I don't think so. I don't think the Rams are going to do anything. But I will say this, as far as fines go, who needs to be fined is the guy who had the hip drop tackle on Ricky Pearsall. I mean, that Ricky Pearsall ankle injury was a direct result of a hip drop, which has been outlawed. That fine is coming that way for Mr. Titan, whoever that was. Mr. Elman or Lilman says, became a YouTube member. A little clap for him. Larry Martin in the house says we should shut down shut down a Bijan Robinson. Just saying.
Okay. Yeah. Just saying.
Well, did you shut him down, or did you just get a big lead and took him out of the game plan? I think the same game plan is going to be in effect here. Take Jonathan Taylor out with your offense. Keep
him on. Yeah. Let him sit and watch.
4 points. That's it. That's it for us. All right. That's going to do it for us. It's Friday, December the 19th. I got a busy day. I'm off to Santa Clara. I've got a Chase Senior stream coming up here in about 20 minutes. What do you guys got cooking?
This is a big one for the holidays here. We're in the midst of Hanukkah here, so I got a Hanukkah party tonight, and then I got to prepare and get Levi to sleep at my parents on the night of the 24th. We'll do Christmas on the morning with them as well. So we're doing a little double dip.
By the way, Sam, how can it be goalie interference without the interference call? It was a great rant the other day. I saw that. I'm watching you, baby. I'm watching you.
By the way,
Celebrini.
I'm trying to. By the way, you want to hear a great locker room conversation?
Yeah.
A little. I'm over listening. I'm listening as Matt Barrows is talking to Mac Jones. Well, a bunch of Niners went out to the Sharks game.
Oh,
right?
this is great.
And they're like, they invited Macklin Celebrini. They're like, hey, man, let's go have a couple beers. And he's like, hey, man, I'm 19.
19 years old.
19. I can't even go have a couple beers. There'll be no beers for me. So I thought that was kind of funny.
Superstar, that guy, by the way. We're talking superstar.
Yeah. I'm trying to debate on Christmas. I'm a turkey fan. The family doesn't want turkey. So, okay, that's fine. I'll give in. So now we're down to either a ham or do I go prime rib? Have you guys ever done prime rib? Have any prime rib advice? Because I've seen people. I've been watching videos, Damon. They cook it with the bone on. Sometimes they slice the bone and then tie it all up. And that the bone's not on anymore, but it's kind of near.
Yep.
But then they take off the bone and then they slice it. The internal temperature I know is the key factor, but what can you tell me about cooking
you pull that prime rib at 128 and you let it come up while it rests to 132. Thank you so much. What you need though is to go and get yourself a time machine and buy that prime rib 6 years ago. The prime rib that last year was $220 is a $300 prime rib this year. The price has gone up to the point where that ham, that turkey might be something you want to look at there. Do a ham and a turkey breast. You don't need to do a whole turkey. Just do like smoke a turkey breast or something.
I think I kind of like that. I like that idea.
If you're going to go prime rib, bring the American Express black card to the butcher. You're going to need it.
I have not done the prime rib at home. I've never had a prime rib home served that way. So I'm impressed, Larry. I would love that social media from you. Yeah, I would say I would be very curious, and I would be into your social media unveiling of the prime rib at home.
Have you done a prime rib, David?
I've done like 5 of them. Yes.
Really? By the way, I'm HOPR. House of Prime Rib is my only experience.
Oh, I'm telling you, I love House of Prime Rib. But do you do it what do you do it in? Smoker?
I do it on the grill.
Wow.
I use indirect heat, put it on the grill, good and smoky. It cooks a lot faster than you think. Prime rib on the grill goes a lot faster than you think. So
how fast?
It's about 18 minutes a pound.
Okay.
Depending on how hot your grill is.
But you also have a gas grill. You wouldn't do it.
No. What am I, a communist? No.
So
there's no such thing as a gas grill in my backyard. We're using charcoal like men.
Charcoal. Okay.
Yes.
But your coals are not in your standard
indirect.
Pyramid.
Yes. No. Yeah.
So
indirect. You want it off the side. You want indirect heat, Larry. Indirect heat.
So push the coals to the sides.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes.
All right.
Now I'm really invested. Larry, you better do this now. Now that we've gotten a lesson. Yeah.
I'll do it this way. Boy meets grill. Thank you very much. How about this? Speaking of girls, I'm taking my girl to the Guardsman Christmas lunch today. I'm going to put on a suit. We're going to go to the Fairmount.
Fancy.
We're going to go get hammered. We're doing some day drinking. I think we got the grandparents picking up the kids tonight. Afternoon sex feels like I don't know.
That's strong possibility. Trending.
Wait a second. Everybody write this date down.
Trending.
All of a sudden, David has a third son that's
trending.
Exactly 9 months from this date.
Ooh. It would be a true Christmas miracle. It would be a true Christmas miracle.
Wait a second. On that note.